Hello viewers, I am Professor Shwinder Kaur Popli, Department of Social Work, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Today I am going to discuss with you social work and its relationship to other disciplines. Social work is closely related to various academic disciplines, each contributing valuable insights and tools that enhance its practice. Among these, sociology, psychology and social policy are often regarded as cognate disciplines, fields that share a common focus of human behavior, social system and welfare. These disciplines have significantly shaped the theories, methods and ethical frameworks of social work. As Dominelli in 1997 notes, their influence is visible in how social workers analyze social issues, understand individual and group behavior and design interventions. This interdisciplinary foundation allows social work to approach problems holistically and tailor responses that are both evidence-based and empathetic. Let us look at sociology and social work. Sociology derives from the Latin word socius, that means companion, and Greek logos, that is study. It is a scientific study of society. While all social sciences study human behavior, sociology is unique in its focus on society as a whole, its structure, constitution and relationships. According to the sociologist Engels, sociology deals with three main areas. Number one, society and its internal dynamics such as roles, norms and social change. Second is institutions like the family, economy and political systems, including how they function and interact. The third is social relationships, particularly how individual interactions are shaped by cultural norms and societal values. Pioneers like Durkheim and Max Weber helped establish sociology as a response to the disruptions caused by modernity and industrialization. Their theories aimed to explain the cause of social disintegration and suggest ways societies could adapt. Both sociology and social work emerged in 19th century Europe, especially in the social crisis brought on by rapid change. Though sought scientific credibility, used evidence-based approaches and engaged in debates about how best to address social problems. For instance, within social work, the charity organization society COS focused on individual change, while settlement houses aimed at structural reform, an ongoing debate in the field even today. The key differences between sociology and social work, if we look at, despite their shared origins, sociology and social work differ in focus and purpose. Sociology is theory-oriented, that is aiming to build broad explanations for how society functions, while social work is practice-based, focusing on solving real-world problems and improving lives. Sociologists often work in academic and research settings, whereas social workers are out in field, directly engaging with individuals, families and communities. Additionally, sociology strives for objectivity and often claims to be value neutral. In contrast, social work is value-based profession, guided by principles of human dignity, social justice and compassion. Sociology's contribution to social work, if we look at, then sociology has had a significant impact on the growth of social work, offering both theoretical insights and practical tools. Number one, systems theory from sociology has influenced the ecological model of social work, where individuals are viewed as part of larger systems such as family, community and environment. Second is sociological perspectives such as structural, functional, Marxist and interactionist approaches help social workers understand power, inequality and group behavior. For example, Marxist theory highlights caste conflict, helping social workers advocate for social justice. The interactionist approach aids in understanding subcultures, identity, and delinquency. The key concepts like role, status, power, authority, and group dynamics are third, which are regularly used in casework, group work, and community organization, enriching practical interventions. Fourth is sociology helps in analyzing family structures and dynamics, such as changing gender roles, parenting challenges, and intergenerational conflict. Fifth is it also informs social work responses to aging and elderly care, helping address issues like social isolation, neglect, and policy development for senior citizens. In summary, while sociology provides the theoretical lens, social work applies that knowledge in practical, people-centered ways. Together, they form a strong interdisciplinary partnership aimed at understanding and improving society. The second discipline which I am going to discuss is psychology. Psychology and its connection to social work. If we look at psychology, it comes from Latin word psyche, meaning soul, and logos, meaning study. It is a scientific study of mental processes and human behavior. It explores how people think, feel, and act, and applies this understanding to address human problems. As a science, psychology relies on observation, measurements, and classification to study behavior objectively. Three major psychological approaches influence the field. Number one, Freudian or non-Freudian approaches emphasize the role of the unconscious mind in shaping behavior. Sigmund Freud, along with the thinkers like Carl Jung, believed past experiences, especially childhood, affects adult functioning. Behavioral approaches, championed by B.F. Skinner, see behavior as learned through conditioning. This school focuses on observable behavior and measurable outcomes. Gestalt psychology offers a holistic perspective studying how people perceive and experience the world as a whole rather than in parts. Psychology includes various specializations such as clinical psychology, developmental psychology, counseling, industrial psychology, and abnormal psychology. Psychologists work in many settings, providing therapy, conducting assessments, offering guidance in schools, workplaces, and mental health centers. Let us look at the influence of psychology on social work. Psychology has had a significant impact on the development of professional social work, especially in the early 20th century. Freud's psychoanalytic theory played a major role in shaping the casework method, offering a deeper scientific understanding of individual behavior and emotional problems. This helped move social work beyond common sense approaches and established it as a specialized helping profession. Originally, social work in many countries, including India and the West, began as a mission to help the poor, oppressed, and marginalized groups suffering from poverty, hunger, and social exclusion. Early social workers focused on meeting human needs, basic human needs, such as food, shelter, education, and protection from exploitation. Their work was rooted in charity, social justice, and community upliftment. However, as psychological theories and counseling practices became more integrated into social work during the 20th century, the focus of the profession gradually expanded. Social workers began addressing mental health issues, family conflicts, marital problems, and personal emotional struggles, which were challenges not limited to the poor, but also experienced by middle class and upper class individuals. This shift meant that social work was no longer seen only as a poverty relief or community service, but also as professional therapeutic support for anyone in distress, regardless of their economic status. Middle and upper class clients began to seek social workers for marital counseling, parenting support, grief counseling, stress and anxiety management, personal growth, and life coaching. Psychology has also contributed many practical tools to social work, such as behavior modification techniques, psychoanalytical tools like dream analysis, child development theories and role expectations, classification of mental illness, counseling skills, and intervention models. These tools have improved the effectiveness of social work interventions, especially in the areas like mental health, rehabilitation, and child welfare. If we look at the critical reflections of this relationship between social work and psychology, while psychological tools have enhanced social work practice, some scholars and practitioners have criticized social work's over reliance on psychology, shifted social work away from its original mission of addressing poverty and social injustice, raising several concerns. The very first concern is shift away from social justice mission. People feel that psychology has shifted social work away from social justice mission. According to scholars like Dominelli and Limbaugh, early social work was deeply rooted in addressing poverty, inequality, and social injustice. Over time, by focusing more on psychological techniques, social work shifted from community level social reform to individual therapy and counseling. This shift narrowed the scope of social work, making it more about fixing individuals rather than changing oppressive social systems. The second thing is individualizing social problems. Critics argue that applying psychological frameworks to social work often makes social problems seem like personal weaknesses or individual failings. For example, instead of seeing unemployment as a failure of economic policies, it may be treated as a person's lack of motivation or skills. Instead of viewing domestic violence as a gender or power issue, it might be reduced to personal anger management problems. This approach ignores the role of adjunct social structures such as poverty, patriarchy, racism, or economic exploitation in creating suffering and inequality. By focusing too much on individual problems, social work risked ignoring the structural and societal causes of inequality, such as discrimination, economic exclusion, and marginalization. While psychology helps understand individual behavior, social work may balance this with a broad social perspective, one that addresses both personal difficulties and unjust social systems. Maintaining this balance ensures that social work remains true to its core value of social justice, equity, and empowerment. The other discipline I would like to discuss is medicine and social work. Medicine and social work are two interconnected fields that work collectively, collaboratively to promote the complete well-being of individuals and communities. Medicine primarily focuses on diagnosing illnesses, treating diseases, preventing health complications, and maintaining physical and mental health. However, health challenges often go beyond physical symptoms and involve social, emotional, and economic factors that can impact a person's recovery and quality of life. This is where social work plays a crucial role. Social workers in healthcare setting provide essential support by addressing the emotional stress, family responsibilities, financial struggles, and social isolation that patients and their families face during illness. Social workers help patients navigate the complex healthcare systems by connecting them with government health schemes, financial assistance programs, rehabilitation centers, and community-based organizations. They offer counseling and emotional support to individuals coping with chronic diseases, disabilities, terminal illnesses, or sudden medical crisis. Social workers also advocate for patients' rights and ensure they receive dignified, fair, and inclusive care. In cases where patients face stigma, such as with mental illness, HIV/AIDS, or disabilities, social workers work to reduce discrimination and promote social acceptance. This partnership between medicine and social work represent a holistic, person centered approach in healthcare. While doctors and nurses focus on treating the illness, social workers focus on healing the person's social emotional life, helping them adjust to life changes and build resilience. Together, they address the broader social determinants of health, such as poverty, unemployment, lack of education, and social exclusion, which often contributes to poor health outcomes. By working as a team, medical professionals and social workers ensure that health care is not only clinically effective but also compassionate, accessible, and socially just. Thus, medicine and social work complement each other to create a more complete system of care. This collaborative approach ensures that patients are not just treated as cases of illness, but supported as whole individuals whose recovery depends on both medical treatment and a nurturing social environment. Through this teamwork, healthcare becomes truly holistic, restoring health, dignity, and hope to these in need. Another discipline closely related to social work is psychiatry. Psychiatry and social work share a strong professional relationships, particularly in the field of mental health care. Psychiatry focuses on diagnosis and medical treatment of mental illnesses, including prescribing medications and identifying biological and neurological causes of psychological disorders. Psychiatrists apply what is known as medical model or the disease model, which explains mental illness as a result of organic or biochemical imbalances. This approach has been widely used in mental health treatment, although some critics argue that it sometimes overlooks the social and environmental factors contributing to mental health problems. Social work, on the other hand, complements psychiatry by addressing the social and emotional aspects of mental illness. Psychiatric social workers are especially trained professionals who use interviewing skills, collect family histories, and assess the social environment of their clients to understand how factors like family dynamics, poverty, unemployment, trauma, and social stigma contribute to mental health challenges. They play an essential role in helping patients reintegrate into society after treatment. This includes finding employment opportunities, arranging housing, linking individuals to support groups, and helping families cope with the emotional burden of caring for a mentally ill relative. Unlike psychiatrists, who often view patients through the lens of their medical condition, social workers view them as whole individuals with strength, challenges, and social needs. The effective treatment of mental health disorder requires collaboration between psychiatrists, social workers, psychologists, nurses, and community support systems. While psychiatrists diagnose and provide medication, social workers provide counseling, crisis intervention, and advocacy. Social workers also mobilize community resources to create a support system around the individual, helping prevent relapse and promoting recovery. This partnership ensures that mental health care is holistic, addressing not only biological causes of illness but also the social, emotional, and economic factors that impact a person's recovery. In some countries like United States, professional bodies like the American Psychiatric Association coordinate the curative and rehabilitative aspects of mental health care. However, in India, such comprehensive and collaborative frameworks are still evolving. The need for integrated mental health services that combine psychiatric treatment with social work support is increasingly recognized as essential for effective care and long-term recovery. Thus, psychiatry and social work together offer a more person-centered approach to mental health, where treatment is not limited to medication but extends to improving a person's overall life situation, helping them live with dignity and purpose. Another discipline that I would like to discuss here related to social work is history. History at its core is a study of past events, but beyond simply recording facts, history helps us understand the forces and circumstances that shaped those events. It includes various branches such as political, social, economic, and intellectual history. Studying the past allows us to better understand the present and the plan for future. In social work, history plays an important role for several reasons. Number one, understanding the history of the profession helps explain its current structure, challenges, and identity. Number two, new historical approaches like feminist historiography have revealed that social work's low professional status may be linked to its origins with marginalized groups, particularly white women in a male dominated society. And thirdly, social work development has often been tied to the welfare state. A neoliberalism promotes a minimal state and cuts to welfare. Social workers have used historical analysis to advocate for social justice and preservation of welfare schemes. Thus, history not only gives context to social work past, but also provides tools for critical reflection and advocacy in the present. Public administration is another discipline which is close to social work, because public administration, as defined by Luther Glitch, is a part of administration that deals with government operations, especially the executive branch. It is both a field of practice and an academic discipline that studies how government functions. Public administration includes several areas such as administrative theory, financial administration, personal administration, welfare administration, and administrative law. Among these, welfare administration is most relevant to social work as it focuses on the delivery of social services and correctional programs to the public. What is welfare administration in social work? According to American Council of Social Work Education, administration in social work means transforming community resources into programs that serve people, following shared goals and standards. It is a curative and problem-solving process that involves studying a situation, diagnosing the issue, taking action, and evaluating results. The scope of social welfare administration in social work includes number one, analyzing social problems and planning administrative responses. To understand, analyze the problem and then plan administratively the responses to that problem. Number two, planning and running welfare services. Number three, managing social security schemes. Number four, administering welfare organizations. And number five, creating and reviewing social policies. Social welfare administration also covers topics like organizational structure at different levels, local to international, financial and personal management, public relations, leadership planning, coordination, and evaluation. Let us look at the role of social workers in public systems. In countries like UK and USA, social workers play a major role in implementing government welfare services. Their responsibilities include number one, understanding government programs and assessing eligibility for services. Number two, working in correctional settings, for example, as probationary officer, to evaluate if someone is ready for parole or rehabilitation. And third is navigating and applying relevant laws, policies, and procedures to support their clients effectively. To do this well, social worker must be aware of the political and administrative environment in which they work. Traditionally, social work focused on humanizing public services, ensuring they are delivered with care and respect. However, in recent years, social workers have recognized the importance of being involved in policy making itself. Influencing policy is a powerful way to bring about systemic social change in line with social work values, that is justice, equity, and inclusion. This shift has made it essential for social workers to number one, understand how social policies are made. Number two, learn methods of policy analysis. And number three, engage in advocacy and reform. Policy science, being multidisciplinary, supports this need by offering insight into the design, implementation, and evaluation of public policies. Another discipline I would like to discuss today is law and social work. Social work and law are also very closely related. In many countries, especially in the West, social workers are legally empowered to intervene in specific areas of social life, such as protecting children, addressing domestic violence, or working with vulnerable populations. This legal role has grown for several reasons. Number one, statutory responsibilities now give social workers authority in areas like child protection. Public scandals in social services have led to increased legal regulation and accountability. And third, the complexity of legal system often denies justice to common people, making legal awareness crucial for social workers to advocate for them. As a result, law has become a vital part of social work education and practice. We also need to understand human rights and legal awareness in social work. The emergence of human rights based approach has further emphasized the role of law in social work. Legal frameworks help define, protect, and promote the rights of individuals and communities, especially those who are disadvantaged and marginalized. In India, the relationship between law and social work is especially significant. Indian social legislations often try to bridge the gap between traditional values and changing social behavior. They provide a legal basis for social change and offer protection to those in need. Why social workers need legal knowledge? Social workers need to understand law for multiple reasons. As counselors, they guide clients in correctional services, child welfare, adoption, and mental health. They perform quasi-judicial roles. In developing countries, especially India, legal knowledge is crucial to protect the poor from misuse of law by powerful actors. Tools like public health interest litigations empower social workers to safeguard the rights of marginalized groups. The key legal areas where social workers should know. To be effective social workers in India should be familiar with Indian Constitution, especially fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy, legal aid provisions to ensure access to justice, family laws, special laws, and public interest litigation as a legal tool for advocacy. Basic legal procedures like filing an FIR, arrest, bail, charge sheets, etc. Social work is deeply rooted in values, and because it deals with human life, dignity, and rights, its connection with philosophy, especially moral philosophy and ethics, is essential. So, another area that I would like to discuss here is philosophy, ethics, and social work. Ethics help us answer questions like what is the right thing to do, what is good or bad in a particular situation, how should one act when faced with moral dilemma. Ethics and philosophy is often divided into three areas. Metaethics, it explores the big question, what is good? What is the basis of moral judgment? Second is normative ethics. It creates guiding principles of rules for behavior in society. Third is applied ethics. It applies these moral principles to real life situations. In their daily work, social workers face many ethical challenges, such as making decisions that affect the rights and welfare of individuals and communities. They often deal with complex and sensitive issues such as child protection and confidentiality, end-of-life care, where the right choice is not always clear. As society evolves, people become more aware of their rights and value systems continue to shift. For example, issues like abortion, same-sex marriage, euthanasia, and stem cells research present social workers with conflicting viewpoints and ethical dilemmas. To support ethical practices, professional bodies like National Association of Social Workers provide code of ethics that guide relationships between social workers and their clients, social workers and other professionals, and social worker and society. Another area that I would like to talk about is economics and social work. Economics is a study of how resources like goods and services are produced, distributed, and consumed in society. It helps explain how societies decide what to produce, who gets what, and how it to improve well-being. In the field of social work, economics plays a key role because many social issues such as poverty, unemployment, economic income inequality, housing, and migrations are directly linked with economic conditions. Economics has various branches such as development economics, agriculture economics, financial economics, and industrial economics. Social worker must be able to analyze economic factors when working with individuals or communities, like unemployment might lead to financial stress, like low income might restrict access to education, etc. These problems often have structural causes because the individual's control. Understanding economic context helps social workers identify root causes and advocate for systemic change. Renowned economists like Amartya Sen, with his concept of entitlements, and Mehboob ul Haq, who developed the Human Development Index, have strongly influenced social work thinking. These frameworks argue that access to basic needs like food, health, and education is not just a privilege but a right, and promoting these rights leads to a better society for all. In summary, understanding economics allows social workers to grasp the broader picture behind individual and community problems, develop effective intervention strategies, advocate for policies that improve social justice and human development. So, let us sum up. In today's session, we understood social work is fundamentally a practice-based profession whose central purpose is helping individuals, families, and communities. The effectiveness of the social worker's professional service depends on the three core elements: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Social workers draw heavily from the wide range of other disciplines: sociology, psychology, economics, law, political science, history, medicine, philosophy, and more. These fields offer important concepts, theories, and frameworks that allow social workers to look beyond the surface level symptoms and understand the root causes of social issues. As a profession rooted in practice and action, social work often adopts and applies knowledge from other fields to meet the needs of diverse clients and contexts. While it may not always engage deeply with entire theoretical foundation of the discipline, it selects and uses the most appropriate tools to achieve its goals. This flexible, eclectic approach has increased the relevance and effectiveness of social work methods in various settings. The core methods of social work, casework, group work, and community organization are unique to the profession and represents its original tools for intervention. In today's world, even theoretical disciplines like history and sociology are moving towards multidisciplinary approaches, integrating ideas across domains. Therefore, social work practice of drawing from multiple disciplines is not only appropriate but increasingly necessary in the complex and interconnected society. Historically, Alex Frechner's 1915 statement challenged social work's professional status, claiming it lacked a distinct knowledge base. However, since then, social work has built a substantial body of knowledge through research, experience, and reflection. Even though universally accepted theories may still be few, the interdisciplinary borrowing from the other fields helps fill these gaps and enriches the profession's capacity to respond to emerging challenges. Ultimately, social workers' openness to learning from other disciplines, combined with its own developing knowledge, skills, and ethical foundations, makes it a dynamic and evolving profession dedicated to human well-being and social change. Thank you.